Imagine yourself back when you started playing TF2. You're just a noob, running around shooting random things and trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. You're probably already entering sensory overload trying to figure out how to rocket jump, or the layout of a map, or how the hell spy works. Then, a pop-up appears. You click on it, and it gives you a new item? Wait, this game has unlockable weapons? So you begin to use whatever you got and everything seems completely normal. You're dying, learning, practicing, and all that jazz up until you decide to switch off. Then, you realize how hard using that weapon was. And you just wasted all that time learning basically nothing. This is actually a problem in a lot of games, and it's the concept of overchoice. Basically, if a new player has too many things to choose from, it can actually be harmful for the decision-making process and cause them to choose a bad weapon. I'll call these types of weapons noob traps. Weapons that seem good at the start, but are actually horrible for beginners to use, just because of the skill needed to maximize them. Yes, the title is a little clickbait, as I'm not saying you should never use these weapons. Most of them are actually very good, which is why new players seem to pick them. It's just they have a high skill floor and will cause the overstimulated mind of a noob to explode. This is a video to inform all of you new players out there that need a little guide. Let's get into it. First up, we have the direct hit. This weapon just screams skill issue. All of the stats point towards aiming and precision, which are not the best combination when it comes to newer players. Basically, it takes away much of your splash radius, 70% to be exact, in exchange for a massive damage boost. It also gives a generous projectile speed boost. For a good player, this can be one of the most powerful, unstoppable side grades in the game. You can even delete light classes in one shot. Being able to take on any class if you have good aim is extremely useful. The sheer power of mowing down enemies left and right is addicting, but for the average player, this weapon can be downright humbling. The amount of precision needed is insane, and any deviation or mistakes will end in your death. Any new player picking up the game will get absolutely steamrolled if they even look at this weapon. That's the main issue with this weapon. The upside is so massive, but so is the downside. The damage is a great buff, but the splash radius is an even greater nerf. I think this weapon sits perfectly in the balance of soldiers' unlockables. A big capability of this weapon, and one of the things it's known for, is sentry busting. See, sentries take base damage from all weapons regardless of range, so the direct hit can take out a sentry in 2 shots.
I am going to strangle you!
This gives an engineer almost no time to react, and even if they can get a hit or two to repair the sentry, another 2 rockets is guaranteed to take it out. The direct hit pairs well with a lot of soldiers' other weapons. The shotgun and panic attack are very useful for backing up your primary, just in case you miss like a dumbass. They are also for weaklings, which is why I use them. The banners have their different upsides, but I'd say the battalion's backup is the best. See, the conch is just good in general, but doesn't pair with the direct hit much, and the buff banner is a little redundant when you can already one-shot light classes. Plus, the battalions lets you tank an absurd amount of damage, which can let you get another 1 or 2 rockets out. Overall, the direct hit is a weapon you should adamantly avoid until you have decent experience in TF2. Oh, the Mr. Beast combo! Oh my god, I did it! We did it, boys! On the topic of Soldier, we have another one of his rocket launchers, the Liberty Launcher. Now, this may be a controversial opinion, but I don't think the Liberty Launcher is that bad. Yeah, it's weak, and yeah, it gets outclassed by every other launcher. But even then, it still does a semi-decent amount of damage and can also be comboed with a shotgun to deal some nutty damage. But I definitely not recommend this to a new player. Basically, it takes away a big chunk of your base damage in exchange for minor buffs and all other stats. You take less self damage, the projectile is a little bit faster, and you get a whole other rocket. This weapon may seem like a good learning tool for a new player, and it is. I actually used it for a while when I was starting the game, but it is such a crutch and will completely ostracize you to the mechanics and feel of the stock rocket launcher. If you get too used to the cushy extra rocket and faster speed, stock will feel clunky and hard to use. Plus, the damage is pitiful, and for a new player who's probably relying on splash damage a lot, you'll be dealing around 30 to 50 damage per shot. Instead of using skill to get fast results, the Liberty Launcher deals out around the same damage over one more shot. It pairs well with the Panic Attack, as switching between the two like a madman is actually a pretty good combo. If you really want to use the Liberty Launcher, I'd recommend this. The shotgun is a good fallback move if your damage is just not good enough as well. The banners are actually a really bad choice because you deal out such a small amount of damage that even the conch takes a while to fill up. The Liberty Launcher is not the best weapon, and this is magnified when presented to a new player. The Kunai is a staple for any trickstabber weeaboo spy who wants to dominate a server, and that's for a reason. It takes away a large chunk of your health in exchange for stealing the HP of your enemies. It has a lot of intricate details. If an enemy has less than 70 HP, it will give you 70 HP back no matter what. This will be converted into overheal up to 210 HP. If they have over 700 HP, you get however much HP they had before they got stabbed. The special thing about the Kunai is that the base overheal is set at 105, so when you get 210 HP, it takes way longer to decay. This means you can retain a lot of your overheal and still wait for a good stab opportunity. This weapon is a horrible choice for a new spy because it makes you so goddamn squishy. You can get killed by literally anything ever created. The leeway you have as a stab is cut in half, at least before you get a stab. As a new player, it can feel impossible to use this weapon, especially since spy as a class is also confusing and broken. The trade-off is massive, and if you aren't able to take advantage of it, you'll be dead as a doornail. But if you think you can handle the immense power this knife holds, go right ahead. I have said many things about this knife, and my opinions have since then changed. I used to think it was stupidly overpowered and hated every last bit of it, even as a spy main, but I actually think I like the big earner better. Anyways, that's it for spy. Next up, we'll be returning to my roots, Combo Pyro. More specifically, the Degreaser. The Degreaser is interesting because by itself, it's a direct downgrade with no upside. Basically, it takes much more ammo to air blast in exchange for a much higher deploy and holster speed. Your afterburn also only does 1 damage, which can be a little painful sometimes. The thing about the Degreaser is that combined with other weapons, this thing can reign supreme. See, many of Pyro's weapons deal out crits on burning players, and using the Degreaser's faster switch speed, you can combo between 2 weapons in an instant. Comboing with the flare gun or extinguisher is probably one of the most satisfying things to do in the entirety of TF2. About as satisfying as living a long and healthy life. It takes a lot of skill to exploit the power though, So new players, beware. If you're about to use this, rethink your life choices and go play heavy. Our last weapon is the Widowmaker. This weapon is the epitome of get good. The whole point is metal conversation and aiming. Basically, instead of taking ammo to shoot, it drains your metal pool. You gain back some of the metal after dealing damage, enough that if you hit most of your shots, you will never have to reload. The thing about this weapon is that if you fail to manage everything or just whiff all your shots like me, you are basically as good as dead. It only really pairs with the pistol, as it's a good last resort. For any new players out there, unless you have gamer god aim, do not use this weapon. Even me, a good TF2 player, can sometimes question why I even play this game. And that's it. Those are a couple of the weapons I personally think new players should avoid. If any new players are out there, I hope you guys learned a few things from this video you otherwise wouldn't have known. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to press the like button. If you enjoyed me, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.